Welcome on the last day at the WebSummit 2025. Switch off the mic, and those also. Sorry for the audio. So once again, welcome on the final day of the WebSummit 2025 at the QIC booth. Before I even start to discuss my favorite topic that is very important for us currently in the year 2025, is there anyone representing other insurance company rather than QIC group?
There is no insurance companies at all.
That is so unfortunate. That is really sad because we are here not only to share the results, the information, the insights, what we are doing in the QIC regarding the embedded insurance, but we're here rather to spew the knowledge to everyone on the market regarding why the embedded insurance, or as we're calling it, EI, is really important, not only for the insurance companies, but also for the partners that can introduce that, and also for the end customers. So let's start from the introduction. Once again, hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alfred Tiutin. I'm representing the product development and business development as a head of the product development unit. Over here, together with me, is presenting my good friend and colleague, Yasser Shubbar, as a representative of business development department. So let's continue with the topic. Let's talk about the agenda itself. Today, we're going to actually define straight what is actually EI or embedded insurance means, so everyone is on the same page. Let's also discuss it's all really important for us to focus on the embedded insurance. Let's talk about the numbers, the trends, how is embedded insurance is actually performing on the market worldwide and over here in the region. And of course, let's cook and see into the future and do our own prediction. This is going to be our favorite part. So let's start with what actually is the embedded insurance. And to put it very shortly, very simply, it's actually a seamless way to introduce, to represent the insurance into the interaction with the product or service for any product, any partner worldwide, for the customer, allowing him to purchase it within the digital way in a seamless experience without sometimes even knowing it. So it's really important to highlight over here that we don't want the customer to have an additional step to actually interact with us, and we don't want to have an additional interaction with the customer. We want the flow or the journey to be the same all in one. So let's continue further. What are the main tropes or the main must-haves for the embedded insurance to actually say, because let's be honest, if we're gonna look for the insurance solutions that are represented over here, not all of them are embedded, to be honest. And what actually are must-haves to define the embedded insurance? First is integrated experience. As I said, customer has to be focused only on the topic that he actually came for. Purchasing the flight ticket, booking the hotel, buying a car, doing something on the marketplace. So that's the main action that he's actually doing, and we don't want to just take another step and add in the insurance over here. It all has to be seamless. The second step is the frictionless access. That's actually one of the most painful points talking to the partners every day. It's not embedded insurance if you don't share the data in the both ways. We have to share the insurance data for the customers, the prices, the quotation, the policies after the purchase, and the partners actually have to give us the data for the embedded solution. That's the only way. There is no other way around it. Otherwise, it's just an additional distribution channel, just an online channel for insurance. It doesn't count. So the next one is, think about it. Since we have the data, even before the customer is gonna actually click the button, add insurance, we already have all the information we need. We know the price, we have to customize in order to increase the conversion rate. And the last but not the least, is tech-driven distribution. What it means actually that, to be completely honest with you, worldwide, from everyday discussion with the partners, the legacy systems are not ready to adapt as is to implement really performant embedded solution. That's the truth. So let's continue further. What are the main pillars that actually born and raised the embedded insurance for all of us that we know as it is today? Of course, the biggest one is airline and tourist agencies. We are purchasing tickets, trip, or booking a hotel. It's always insurance that is being represented over here. The second, the biggest, is the banks and telecom companies. Of course, you guys know the biggest flow over here is the bank insurance. So a lot of micro insurance, a lot of products that are being hidden or represented as embedded in, for example, you purchasing or getting the credit card, and so on and so forth. The third one, as we call it internally, is services of Uberization. So what it actually means, it's services of the shared economy, Airbnb, Uber, any scooter rentals. Embedded insurance actually, for example, for the case of Airbnb, is not only represented for the end customer, but also represented for B2B, B2B partner. And the last one, but not the least, everyone has over here the smartphone, and when you guys were purchasing, for example, the Apple product, Apple Care is always here. So you can find it always on the websites, on the marketplaces. This is the last one, and also by far one of the fastest growing. Actually, one of my favorite parts is discussing with the partners integration options. I can spend 3 hours just discussing this part with you guys, but this is the technicalities. This is not what we're here for. We're not going to spend 3 hours talking about that. All I can say that us in Digital Hub at QIC, we can do any level of depth of the integration of the embedded solution. We can provide APIs only. We can do the design, we can do full SDK solutions, we can do full-fledged solution on dedicated servers, whatever you, ladies and gentlemen, need. So in case I'm gonna plug our department over here, in case anyone is gonna be interested in reproducing embedded solution as the partner with us, please visit us after the forum over here. We're gonna discuss the possibilities. So let's go further. So, why it is actually really important for us in the QIC to focus on the embedded, and why we're doing that so hard right now. We're gonna look strictly at the data, and here's gonna be my friend and colleague Yasser Shubbar, who's gonna be doing the commentary on that. Yasser, please, I'm sharing the mic with you.
Thank you, Alfred. So Alfred has gave us an introduction about what EI is. Once again, EI is short for embedded insurance. So now that we have an idea of what it is, let's look at the landscape locally and also globally. So let me give you some facts regarding the global landscape that we currently have for EI. Did you know that every fourth transaction in insurance is done via embedded channels? So, for example, if you're purchasing the ticket, like Alfred said, through the ticketing website, you can also purchase the flight insurance for it, the travel insurance, sorry. And in 2024, the market size was valued at approximately $150 billion. And this number is only expected to increase. In fact, this number is expected to surpass $950 billion, so almost $1 trillion. And this just goes to show just how much of a paradigm shift it is and how this has completely changed and will continue to change the way that insurance is distributed. And this growth can be seen at a staggering annual growth rate of 35.14% per year. Now, let's look at it from a more local perspective. So, locally, EI is currently approximately valued at $11 billion. And just like globally, it's also expected to increase and reach $40 billion by 2023. Once again, we can see an extremely rapid growth. This annual growth rate is estimated to be 27.5%. We're talking about the MENA region, of course, when we're talking about globally. And if we have to be more specific, the local leaders are UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar. Now, let's look at the impact that AI has. And I want to start off with the most important thing for me as an insurance provider, which is the people. How will the people benefit? How will the consumer benefit? Because this will directly translate into how we cater our products to the consumer. So, in 2024, it was estimated that 70% of consumers prefer insurance that is integrated into the digital platforms they use every day. Now, it is simple to think about it from this perspective. Let's say you are trying to, we've already used the travel example. So let's say you're purchasing a car, okay? It will be much easier for you to use one platform to purchase the car, get insured, get all the paperwork done, rather than having to hop from one application to the other, from one channel to the other. And this is what embedded insurance means for the customer, is that it will be one single smooth flow, rather than having multiple channels, rather than having multiple applications on their phone. And so this will benefit the consumer first and foremost. And because of how much it benefits the consumer, it will also affect the insurance providers. So, if we're looking at the numbers, 60% of insurance providers are now investing in new technologies and utilizing things like AI to make the insurance more personalized, and they are responding to the demands that consumers have, which is AI, which is the embedded insurance, and also it's being tailored, the insurance product being tailored to their needs. So, since the consumer, it has been made easier for the consumer, and because of that, the demand has increased, which has led insurance providers to respond to that. This has completely changed the industry, the e-commerce and fintech industry, and will continue to change it. And at the moment, 45% of e-commerce and fintech companies have already integrated embedded insurance into their services. And of course, once again, this just makes it easier all around for everyone. So let's talk about the impact that this has on the future. So by 2026, embedded insurance will account for 15% of the total insurance market. This is by far the fastest growing distribution channel for insurance. So we've talked about embedded insurance, but let's take a case study that is happening right now. Let's talk about Tesla, which we're all familiar with. So a lot of people don't know this, but Tesla is actually also an insurance company, not just a car company. And currently, they are selling car insurance exclusively through their car application. So what happens is, when you want to renew your insurance or you're purchasing your car for the first time, you get the insurance directly from their application. This is what embedded insurance means. But they go an extra mile and they use things like AI to help this product become even more personalized. So what they do is, they learn from driving patterns, small things like even how harsh you brake, the distance that you travel, the places you go to. They take all these metrics into account to create an insurance product that is personalized to each single driver. And this has translated directly into the numbers. In fact, in 2023, the written premiums for Tesla has reached $109.9 million. This is up 12.7% from the previous year. This suggests that this is profitable for the insurance companies, and it is also helpful to me as a consumer. Now, I pass on the mic back to Alfred, who will be discussing the challenges and the risks involved with this process. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yasser. So the question is, you're gonna be asking, Alfred, why there's no line of partners standing over here, the banks, the ministries, that want to introduce the embedded insurance, since the numbers are growing, the customers are for it, the partners are for it, the insurance companies are for it. They are actually. The issue is it's not as simple as it seems, even though we do have a technology, we do have the will, the money is here, everything is here. Let's face it, from the day-to-day operations that we have with the governmental and commercial sectors in terms of the challenges that they are starting now. So, of course, you can see that we can divide them by internal, external challenges, but to be honest, I wanted to face the first one, the main one, the hardest one, and the most obvious one, is the technical. The people, the human factor, and the business product and the technical integration itself. So, as you can see over here, this quote is actually represents, and it says, the chain of the technical habits are too weak to be felt until they're too strong to be broken. Meaning, what it actually means, what this quote actually means, when we go to our partners, business-wise, technical-wise, and when we are spoken to them, how do we do the performing embedded insurance product? Their team is just not ready for it technically, and we have to do every single time with every single partner, we have to do a technical disruption of their unit for them to actually understand that, oh guys, we actually can do it in a way that is faster, cheaper, and simpler for you, and they have to adapt. This is by far the biggest issues we have, and for example, sometimes only this part can take up to 1 year of discussion with the partner that is willing to cooperate and is willing to sell the products in an embedded way. So the second one is regulatory. Beautiful phrase over here in the quote, the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Meaning that the regulatory institutions have to actually listen and trust to the local players from the industry. We had instances before, not only in Qatar, all around the world, when the institutions are introducing the laws or the frames for embedded insurance, or even EQIC, for example, where without even consulting to the players, in the end of the day, this initiative, as you would say, will only hurt the final consumer, the insurance company, the banks, and, for example, the regulator itself. So it has to be changed, for example. This is why it's here, and this is why we are always ready to discuss that with the regulators anytime. The next one is my favorite. With great power comes great responsibility. You all guys know it. So it's all about the bulletproof security, and we always face in the discussion with the partner this point as point number one. So no questions asked about any possibility that single line of personal data is being leaked out of our or the partner's data servers. The next one is, of course, responsibilities itself. As we say, success has many fathers, but the failure is an orphan. That means when something happens within the embedded insurance, just let's imagine you're purchasing the ticket from airlines and something is not adding up in terms of the insurance, you're going to be blaming the airline company, not the insurance company. Neither us or the partner actually wants this to happen. This is why at the very beginning, even before we're starting the technical integration, we're actually having a discussion with the partners. What parts are we responsible for, the partner itself, and what are we going to do when something is going to be happening over here? And the last one, but not the least, is the consumer trust. What it means that in case we have any unclear terms, any behavior, or any conditions that we didn't specify for the customer, it's going to be painful in the future for us and the customer in case of any bad experiences with the insurance over here. So these 5 are the main issues, main challenges, main risks that we have, myself and Yasser, and our management, of course, have to explain to the partners that we're cooperating with on a daily basis. So, from the past, we're moving to the present. Let's talk about the trends that we're seeing every day over here. And I totally agree with them. Super app and ecosystem partnerships. Ecosystems are here. You know about our own ecosystem, QIC app also. I'm gonna plug it over here. But what we can see from the regulatory and the commercial sector, everyone has their own ecosystem and the super app. It's inevitable. So, meaning everyone wants to be included, or they want us to be included as an insurance for their specific moment, journey, product. The mic is cut enough, just in case. Sound check. Product, and this is why we're here. We're here to introduce any API or any option for the partnerships for the embedded insurance. Also, the next trend, because every single journey over here is custom and unique, that means some of the services are being implemented or introduced on demand or as a subscription service. Of course, the third part, again, it's also inevitable, is coming, it's there, is AI and big data, real-time underwriting, quotation, claiming processes. Even though right now it's not fully, for example, finished in all of the insurance companies, it's there. It's the trend, it's the buzzword, it's coming. One of the last is, to be honest, everyone forgot this buzzword, but the blockchain and smart contracts, we see them being used from other insurance companies, specifically, for example, for claim history, for the damage history, for the due diligence checks of the customer in terms of the insurance partners. This is being used many times in different countries, and we can see this being over here represented also in the region. And the last one is, as I mentioned about the regulation, I think personally that this part is going to be also introduced for the embedded specifically. And the last part is, I wanted also to ask Yasser on the scene. Let's do a little bit of prediction. Let's cook on the destiny of EI. To be frank with you, personally, I think that the future holds hyper customization. I truly believe that. In case we're using the personal data from the governmental, commercial sector, data is just here. We're gonna have it on the spot, on the palm of the hand. That means that customization, because of the data processing, is gonna be here. The next one is gonna be product on demand, on and off demand, to be honest. Since we have the data, we can understand if the client is in the green zone, yellow, red, and for example, if the client requires the insurance for maybe 1 day, maybe 1 week, and we know he is legit, there's no reason why we shouldn't, for example, implement the insurance for him. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, is going to be the biggest one. Maybe the last one is also AI. AI processes, but also AI that is involved in this hyper customization, because those big data, the segmentation is important just to do on the spot with our own capabilities. This is why AI really helps us. Yes, sir, what do you think?
I totally agree. I do think that AI can be implemented in multiple ways when we're talking about EI. It can be implemented in the process of actually creating the product from a technical standpoint, but it can also be involved in the process of actually creating the insurance product. After the AI is already there, AI can be then used to tailor your own insurance for every single person. I think in general, in regards to the destiny of EI, I think not only is AI in general going to play a pivotal role with EI, I also think that the way I see it is EI is more than just a feature, it's a benefit. And I think a feature would not work if it does not benefit the consumer. And this is a feature that directly affects the consumer in a way that benefits them. And so, like I said before, it just benefits all parties involved. The insurance company, the service provider, and the consumer in the end. And the reason why it is so beneficial to the consumer, once again, is because of how it makes things easier. As humans, we are always looking for alternatives. We're always looking to make our lives easier. It is not my job to look for ways to book this ticket, or to also, if I'm planning a trip to travel or something, last thing I want to think about is how I'm going to purchase the travel insurance, how I'm going to book the ticket, how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to do that. I just want one stop shop that has everything that I need. I just want one smooth flow that has everything needed for me. And I think this is why AI is going to play a pivotal role, especially since with insurance specifically, it can be involved in many, many areas in life. There is insurance for everything and for very good reason. And so AI can be involved in every single platform that can utilize insurance. For example, if I'm booking an appointment to see the doctor, I can include some medical insurance EI right into the application where I'm booking the appointment. If I'm buying a car through a marketplace, I can also buy the car insurance through the application. There's so many different applications. I think it will make consumers' lives easier. I think it's very profitable, as we've already seen, for the insurance companies. And I think this is definitely a pivotal role. It will play a pivotal role in the fintech industry and insurance as a whole. What do you think, Alfred?
Well said. Well said. I think in case anyone is going to be having any additional opinions on the topic, we're going to be ready to continue the conversation after the forum. Once again, it's really sad there is no other additional partners, maybe from other insurance companies. We are willing to discuss with them, to have a discussion, open discussion with them on the future of EI, embedded products, embedded solutions. We, again, invited all of the partners to discuss any possibilities, business possibilities after this meeting. And once again, thank you very much. And we hope you enjoyed the time with us. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.